I still feel like Vanessa, and I still feel like the girl that has a dream, and the girl that tries to do right by people, and the girl that wants to work hard and be nice to people. And I don't realize that I'm 40 and I've been in this industry for 20 years and I've done a ton of shows and I have 3 kids and I've worked for everything I want, but I continue to strive and dream and work for everything I want to have for not only my family, but for others. I never want to be in a position that people are like, I wish I could do that or be there. I want to be in a position where they say, she did, so I can.
So I say we bring out our first guest, our living legend, and I just have one word for all of you guys: Madonna.
Vanessa Lachey first made a name for herself in 2003, hosting MTV's hit show Total Request Live.
Ooh, sweet.
So destined,
I
yes.
like you.
More hosting gigs soon followed, which led to better and better acting roles, including 2 stints as a series regular on network sitcoms.
You're free. I'm free. We're all free.
Liar. What are you really talking about?
Actually, we were just talking about Kimberly.
The babysitter?
You know, she's kind of...
Delicious.
Now, the 41-year-old television host, actress, wife, and mother of 3 is starring in a brand new show, NCIS Hawaii.
Excuse me, Captain.
Can't move anything. This is the crime scene. Jane Tennant, Special Agent in Charge, NCIS Hawaii.
When the CBS series premiered on September 20th, Vanessa became the first female lead in the nearly 20-year history of the NCIS franchise.
What I love about this role and this opportunity is that it's finally shining a light on what's been going on all along, and that's that women are in high positions and multicultural women are in high positions. And so it's amazing that finally they're putting that on mainstream television and people get to watch it and see that we are just like everyone else, and we put our shoes on the same way and our pants on the same way, and if I can say so, we kick some ass the same way. So for me to actually be the one chosen for this is beyond a dream come true. That's an understatement. I get choked up thinking about it just because it's such an immense opportunity, and I'm humbled that they saw in me the strength of her character, the warmth of her character, but also as a person, they felt that I could lead this brigade, so to speak, and that's such an honor.
Playing Special Agent in Charge Jane Tennant isn't Vanessa's only new venture this fall. On November 30th, she's also releasing her first book, Life from Scratch: Family Traditions That Start With You. Throughout this imaginative and uplifting guide, Vanessa shares recipes, parenting tips, and personal stories, which includes opening up for the first time about her difficult childhood, growing up without a strong maternal figure in her life.
So that's why the book to me is a big stepping out, so to speak. I've never really talked about the fact that my mother isn't in my life, but it also doesn't mean that I can't be a great mom. So for me, once I had 3 kids and I went through understanding myself as a mother, I already felt like I understood myself as a woman, and then as a minority woman, and then as a wife, and as a friend, and now as a mother. I felt that I was confident and comfortable enough to say, yes, I did not have a mom helping to raise me and pass down lessons, but that's okay, because look what I've done for my family. And you too can write your own destiny. And even if you do have a mother in your life, it's not about people who don't have mothers. It's that you can just define it however you want, and your messy past in whatever capacity that is, or however you want to make it unique to yourself. You have control of that. And I think for so long, we feel like we're letting people down, and especially in this era of social media and seeing all the perfectness in the world, it for me was really soothing and therapeutic to say, no, I've had a very messy past, but that doesn't have to define my future. And it doesn't have to define my kids' future. And yes, writing it was like, gosh, I can't believe that I was scared to say this before, because it's so empowering to talk about it and say, and look where I am now. I think that I couldn't have done that before because I still felt like I was finding my way. And trust me, I'm still finding my way now. But when the book came to evolve, it originally started as 101 things your mom forgot to tell you or didn't tell you. Because, I mean, I made mistakes with boyfriends. I wore white to a wedding. Because nobody was there to tell me that. I literally was that girl in a white dress at the wedding. Wow, that's obnoxious. And then it just evolved into these traditions because the traditions were something that was black and white that I could actually physically and visually see and latch onto with my kids and say, okay, I got this. And then we started evolving those, and together Nick and I made those traditions, and then that became our family and our life. And I'm like, this is what we've created. And some of it is from my childhood, or some of it is from the lack of. What did I want growing up? I wanted to wake up every day on my birthday and it be obnoxious with balloons and pancakes with chocolate syrup. So maybe it's not that version for my kids, but it's some version that I try to be empathetic and read them and understand them and listen to them and continue to do.
Despite having to learn life from scratch without any guidance from her birth mother, Vanessa refuses to hold a grudge.
People say, what if your mom comes into your life one day? I would welcome my birth mother. I would want to hear her story. And I think that it doesn't pay off to be bitter and hold grudges, which is really hard to a Scorpio. That's like what we do. We hold grudges, but life is too short. And it's not healthy or healing or even fun to carry around all that bitterness. So I've just learned to be more aware of my emotions, and when I'm like on edge, or when I'm content, or when I'm punchy, or when I'm relaxed. And I think, look, it's going to be hard, and Nick and I would have lots and lots and lots of conversations, and he would probably know to be on high alert if she were to come back into my life, because you never know what it's going to stir up. But that being said, how could I say no to somebody who wants to say hello?
Vanessa and her husband, Nick Lachey, began dating in 2006, were married in 2011, and have 3 beautiful children together: 9-year-old Camden, 6-year-old Brooklyn, and 4-year-old Phoenix. So 15 years in, it's safe to say this happy couple was meant to be.
I don't want to sound like a crazy lady, but I do believe in manifesting. I do believe in the universe, and there's some cosmic force that has guided me. Whether it's my faith, whether it's my love, whether it's my hopes and dreams, or manifesting what I want. And I'm not saying Nick specifically, but he was at a time in his life when he needed somebody. I was at a time in my life when I needed somebody. We both became single at the exact same time. And I remember I did his music video.
But you can have what's left of me.
He was single, I was single, and it was later that summer we had talked differently, because now we were both single. Before that, we weren't. And it was, how are you? How's life? How's everything? How's work? Then it was, how are you? How's life? How's everything? How's work? And I remember getting these feelings of excitement, and having already known the type of person he was, and him also having already known the type of person I was in terms of our respect and our respect for our relationships and how we were like on that level. I think it really helped us when we decided we wanted to be a couple. And that was our foundation, is that we trusted each other, we respected each other, and we were open, we were honest, this is me, who I am, take it or leave it at this moment, because we're just, at that point, we were just like, this is who I am. And we both were open and willing to be that person for the other person. And I don't want to negate the power and the strength in me personally, but Nick has been a very strong reason on how I am who I am. And you need that. You know, we're human, and we are emotional, and we're vulnerable, and at the same time we're strong and we're independent, but at the same time we're codependent and needy. And what I needed was to believe in myself, and it took me marrying the best guy to say, you are all that and more. And I'm like, you're right. And then we made babies together, and I was like, we kind of are. And honestly, it didn't really come up until we had our first, and I was terrified of having a little girl. And it got to a point where he's like, you're serious? Are you really? And I was like, you don't understand. I can't. I pray that my baby is healthy. Obviously, that's all you want as a mother, is to have a healthy baby. But I said, if the first one is a girl, I'm gonna be terrified. I can't explain to you why. Looking back now, I think that's ridiculous. But 9 years ago, I was terrified that I would mess her up, so to speak, that you would fall into these patterns subconsciously. And what I realized 9 years later, having a boy and a girl and a boy, is that you do have control of that destiny and you don't have to fall into those patterns. And I didn't. And having my son first was the blessing that I needed and that we needed. And by the time we got to my daughter, I was ready. Honestly, it's what I said earlier, that your messy past doesn't have to define your future. It's yours to create. And I really want to encourage people to take charge of their lives and their futures and empower themselves to write their own history and their own destiny, and take the time to get up 30 minutes early that day to decorate for the kids. And I promise you won't regret it. Take the time to get a sitter on that Friday night and force yourself to get up and go on a date with your spouse. I don't think you'll regret that either. Some of it is forcing it at first because it's not a habit, and I understand that. And so for that person who is doubting themselves, I would just encourage them to know that they know what's best. They know what's best for their family and for their future. Listen to that inner voice and define it any way you want. But I truly promise that they won't regret it.